Welcome to Amber Island. My name is George, or in crypto, George Berlin, and I'm super thrilled today to welcome Cryptopunk 2764 for our special job with Fable Whisky. And with no further ado, can you quickly introduce yourself and your role and contributions for Amber Island?
Hey, George. Of course. Thanks for having me on this podcast thingy. And I'm super glad to talk a bit about what we are planning or what we've been planning together and what we are going to do over the next weeks.
Awesome.
So I joined Amber Island very early, before the company was founded. I was like on the advisory board right from the start. My company is building like all the tech and stuff like that. I'm responsible for everything asset related, metaverse related, like all the digital side of things when it comes to interoperability and metaverse compatibility when it comes to like on cyber. And now right behind me, you can see like the Hyperfy integration of
Sweet.
Lentura.
That's really awesome.
Bottle.
Yeah.
And yeah, like this is what I'm helping with. Also strategy, of course, as I'm in the NFT space for 5 years or over 5 years. I know a lot of people. I've been around at all the conferences from the start, so I think I can help Amber on many different angles.
That's really great to hear. And like, I think I'm not underestimating that you're one of our more prominent CryptoPunk holders. And give us a brief overview. How did you get started in NFTs before it was called metaverse, basically?
Yeah, like I was interested in virtual reality and all these virtual worlds like VR chat, Janus. There were so many of them before like Web3 interfaced into metaverse, like into these things, and then like things are called the metaverse. But I've been around that since before I joined NFTs in 2017, and like the interface that led me into NFTs was Decentraland, because I understood like virtual worlds a bit better than other people at that point, and I could like very fast grasp what virtual land is and the potential of these things and the intersection of virtual worlds and blockchain technology, that you have like really these assets and the ownership locked on the chain. And that was when I also like really digged into Ethereum and the tech. I understood these things by coming from VR and virtual worlds. And in 2018, like the first year where we started building, I traveled like to all the conferences in the Ethereum ecosystem. I met, for example, people like Patricio, who asked me that year
From POAP.
If we want to build POAP together.
Nice.
So I helped to build like with Danielle and Gonzalo and Patricio. I helped to like build the first version of POAP at East Denver in 2019. And then during the pandemic, it got me deeper into like arts and crypto art. We were like building tooling for collectors and artists that allow you to like basically do your own exhibitions and share it with the URL. And that was when I like met Colborn from MOCA, the Museum of Crypto Art. And in 2020 I teamed up with them, and like my company in Germany was like with all the devs, and we are building this stack that we designed together with the museum. That was when I became CTO at MOCA and helped to like build the new vision of the museum, of a decentralized museum. And also like during the pandemic, metaverse identities, like what you see now, like interoperable avatars, like all these things really amazed me. And I digged really deep into that rabbit hole, and spent a lot of time on research on that angles in a research group called M3 since December last year. I joined them finally. And like, it's the bleeding edge between metaverse, NFTs or Web3, and then also AI recently. That's what I do.
Really cool. Yeah, I think it's fair to say that you're a front runner of these. all the more, yeah, we're actually super excited to have you on board at Amber Island, and yeah, especially for the second release of Amber Island. It's a special release with you, Cryptopunk 2764, and Fable Whisky, quite a renowned curator of whiskey. In your words, what makes this release so special?
I think what makes it very special is the token distribution, which is not like built on hype at all. As we decided against like doing like these artificial influencer marketing at Amber, and rather went through like an organic community building process where you and like the rest of the team did a great job over the past months to bring in people who really care. That is something that I've learned over the past 5 years, is that is how you build like healthy communities. And this will be the first whiskey with like a broader distribution inside Amber Island. Like the first one that you see like behind me, only 30 of those exist. So this is not like the thing that can become the meme of Amber Island, like the first meme. But I think a whiskey was like a distribution where every member, every key holder can obtain one. I think this could be
Exactly.
like the first whiskey that unites the community, where everybody has like skin in the game without having to pay for it. And that makes it really special. Of course, like Fable as a brand as well. We have Andrew, who's very deep involved with Fable on our advisory board. Like he's one of our whiskey experts, and he ensured that like we get like this cool liquid for the collaboration. And then he also like is very like in the arts like when it comes to the label and stuff. He has like Hugo Coulard, who is like the artist of the in-house artist of Fable whiskey. All of the whiskey releases that they output have like clearly his handwriting. You will instantly see this.
Yeah, at their website, Fable Whisky, you can clearly see the focus on storytelling and the amazing deep narrative that once you watch the video, you get like sucked into this cave, into this yeah, even I always feel like it's already an island before we join forces with them. So I'm really excited as well about this whiskey. And like, after all, it's to my knowledge the first Cryptopunk whiskey. So
totally,
first,
yeah.
that's awesome.
I can see like also like other punk holders become interested in this. A couple of them already purchased a key so they can claim a bottle. But like, as we didn't really did a lot of marketing yet, I think stuff is also like ahead of the road until like we put this claim live on the, I think 14th, right? April 14th.
Yeah, April 13th, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Where people can obtain the key.
Exactly. And for someone who is interested in Amber Island, and we have got quite a few, but who hasn't minted a key yet, what would you tell basically those lurkers on the sidelines?
And I can like also, if you allow me to do this, share the visual of like the 3D bottle right into the stream.
Yeah, let's share it.
Like,
exactly.
For the first time, I think we can get a better sense of how this bottle looks.
So this is the Cryptopunk right on Amber Island, basically with this in the clear art narrative of Hugo Sela. Really, really nice. Awesome.
And like all the labels by Hugo look like this. They have like this amazing style, which defines the Fable brand from the visual aesthetics as well. So
exactly, I think it's really merging, you know, the kind of the punk aesthetic with the aesthetics of Fable of Hugo Sela. I think that's an amazing label.
I agree, and the fact that like Amber Island has decided to go for like 3D assets as the digital component and not just images, JPEGs, as like the Web3 community or like calls them. I think that is what like lifts us apart when it comes to like sharing your collection in the future, when it comes to compatibility to like all different other platforms and metaverse related pipelines. And like if you would have assumed like the first punk whiskey is just a JPEG on like a competitor platform or whatever, like Mint, I think it wouldn't be as cool as the first whiskey, a punk whiskey, being like a real 3D asset.
Exactly.
It's a bit like, yeah, like I think we are a bit ahead of the curve with like everything 3D is a bit ahead of the curve in Web3, because people are like almost nowadays use metaverse as in the same breath as they say Web3. Like it's Web3 and the metaverse is like becoming like one thing. And I don't really understand, as somebody who is so deep into 3D avatars and tokenized avatars and identity and all these things and 3D assets that are tokenized, that I don't understand why not more people grasp the importance of 3D assets and composable 3D assets, because everybody's shouting metaverse, but nobody's living it yet. But people will live it in the future. And I'm happy that we, you know, have like Amber as a brand at the forefront of this.
Exactly. I think not just having an asset-backed NFT is awesome, and that is, I think, where I see the industry is going further. You have great art, but you also have it backed up by a great physical experience, and in this case, this liquid, this nectar of Fable whiskey merged with Cryptopunk. And I think met many punks over the last years, especially last year, and like identity is so important for them. I sometimes wonder which came first, the punk or the person being the punk, because sometimes can clearly see how a person looks at which punk they own. So true. That and so this is amazing. And yeah, I mean, I'm just as a short reminder for everyone, it's one bottle per key. So if you have 5 Amber Island keys, that's real world value right away. You get 5 bottles of that special drop, which is limited to 999 and scarce by definition. There won't be any further. And yeah, I think the last drop went quite fast. It was like 7 minutes for the Glenturret, but there were also only 30 bottles, so the FOMO was quite high. And yeah, I think this was a strong sign already in this market. And yeah, what like maybe a last sentence for the people interested in this Fable whiskey drop together with Cryptopunk 2764.
So there are a couple of things that I learned over the past years in NFTs, being in NFTs, which has been confirmed by like Diego, the crazy whiskey collector, who was on our first community call.
Yes.
And I think especially for this drop, I would like, obviously no financial advice, but I would like get 3 of those keys, because then you can claim 3 bottles. You would have 1 that you can drink. You have 1 that you can store as a like unredeemed NFT as long as you please. And then you can have like a 3rd one that you can like flip at some point. It's interesting that these narratives with NFTs, like how you trade NFTs, because in the end it's an asset, is similar to how people trade whiskey as an asset.
Exactly.
These are like artifacts, very early artifacts, and some whiskey bottles are artifacts as well, as we saw when Diego like pulled out a 1918 or whatever, like a 100-year-old whiskey bottle. Like, what the fuck is this? And
exactly.
I can see that what we are building here can become the whiskey, like digital whiskey artifacts of the future. It's just like a sense we are doing the best that we can when it comes to like designing and conserving these assets in the file formats that we think are like very like tempered, future proof and tempered for the future, for interoperability and stuff like that. But I think like it's a great setup that we have here with the artist, with the brand, with the punk collaboration, which is official. And it's a pleasure like to be a part of this. And output this whiskey into the world together with Amber Island. So I'm super pumped, as you can see. But
yes, me too.
Can't wait. Like it's less than 2 weeks. Get your key, yeah, obtain one of these bottles. I love
exactly.
it.
1.5 weeks left, and of course, Cryptopunk 2764 or René, he just disclosed the famous rule of 3 at the very end. So that's speaking like a true JPEG or whiskey connoisseur. Thank you so much for joining, René, Cryptopunk 2764. That was really cool. Yeah, upwards and onwards for this whiskey and NFT journey.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for having me, and talk to you soon on Discord. Lovely community.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Cheers.